Yes, Europe has been named also by Prodi, and Prodi left Verona to go to Vienna, hopefully to restart. I don't think that there's no need for a new Congress of Vienna to establish good ties between the European and Russians. I think that that is not required. At the time with Tsar Alexander, the Russia played a very important role. I believe it was only right to of Mr. Reporter that every time has its own difficulties. There's a very important issue to be considered when it comes to the relationship between Europe and Russia, and that is the differences between one era and the other, and that is given by the capacity to react. This is what makes the difference between one era and the other, between the presence of an absence of leadership, the difference between vision and short-sightedness. And this, I believe, should be the focus of our discussion in our capacity as Europeans and Euroasiatic citizens. We have to start from another principle of reality, whether we like it or not. But the principle of reality is different, and that is one of interdependence. So whether we like it or not, we are, in fact, interdependent. So by means of a cross-national approach, which is certainly the most important approach and yet to be built though in our relationship. So with a cross-national approach, we have to manage trade, relationship, so as to take care of our business and reach our objectives. Interdependence is the key word, and it is both at the economic level and the political level. Economic independence and political independence featured also in the speeches of the previous speakers. Economic interdependence is a truism within the European Union. We are just leaving behind the most severe crisis we've ever went through after the 30s. So this crisis affected also Eurasia differently, though. The economic figures have already been referred to. And so we need to get out from the crisis. We have to find a common solution. As European and Russians, we should take a better advantage of the G20 to see how to monitor again agreements and convergences. This is something that remains to be done. Well, we have to talk about the economy and talk about energy as well. Now, with reference to energy, together, we should try and understand what are the similarities and the differences in the actions by the European Union and the Euro-Asian Union. President Prodi referred to the fact that we don't have any energy policy in Europe. There's perhaps a strategy of European countries, but there's nothing as a European Union energy strategy. Does this leave any advantage for our international partners or for the Russian Federation? Well, I don't think so. I think so that great advantages could be drawn from the fact that Europe had an energy strategy, had a true European energy union. And then Europeans also set for themselves other objectives that had not been quoted so far, and I believe that such forums are important also to stress that. COP21, sustainable development and alternative energy is something, again, which is to be highlighted. It is another area where negotiations are underway. European Union, when Italy was holding the presidency, did work toward this objective. And this is something that has to be again recalled to be constructive and to try and develop cooperation on different subjects. So far we've referred about economic independence, but there's also political independence. Over the years, we have tried to institutionalize the management of dialogue and conflict resolution. I believe that we should use the Council of Europe, the OECD, all the fora that are already in existence and that can be very useful. I think that greater political importance should be attached to them, so as to understand how intertwined our requirements are. So also OSCE should be used. I wouldn't be cancelled by the government, so I'll try to comply with the time limits myself because I want to be still part of the government. Then we also have to refer to the importance of integration and and the potential hindrance to integration. We know that there's certainly a political economic fact to be tackled. Well, we believe that all agreement between Eastern countries and the European Union is not for or against anybody. This is certainly the stance of Italy. Having said as much, I believe that a greater effort to try and assess all the negative consequences that might derive, well, that should be done, and Italy is fully committed within Europe for this analysis to be carried out. With reference again to the free trade agreement to be established between the Ukraine, the Russian Federation and the European Union. This could be an important objective. We look with greatest interest to the Eurasian Economic Union. We look with great interest at that because unlike other European countries, we don't look at it as if it were useless entity. It is indeed, in our eyes, a win-win solution. We need, again, a future of regional integration after the failure of Doha, as was said earlier on, and regional economic integration as accomplished by the Eurasian Economic Union is something pivotal. It also plays a political role despite it being an economic union. As a matter of fact, I believe that we should look at it with interest also because it is a political entity. And the objectives that it has set for itself are also important. The monetary policy, the development of the single energy market within the Eurasiatic Economic Union. Well, this is certainly a very positive and important development to look forward to. Our colleague Mrs. Valavaya was referring to the city of Verona, to the Capuletti and Montecchis, and probably she doesn't know of the Giulietta syndrome. The Juliet syndrome is that of somebody sitting on the fence, just looking at what happens without ever actually making any decision. Well, I wish the European Union shouldn't suffer for the Juliet syndrome when it comes to the integration within the Eurasian Economic Union. And indeed, Italy stressed the importance of studying regional integration. As a matter of fact, no official recognition has been given to the Eurasian Economic Union, and this is also something that has to be recalled, because the European Union hasn't recognized and acknowledged the Eurasian Economic Union so far. We have to urge that, because we have to develop synergies with win-win solutions being arrived at, with a positive repercussion to be drawn by both unions. The inclusion of Kazakhstan is also important. As Valavaya said, the WTO rules are to be complied with, and also in the view of the regional integration. And this is something that we are very pleased to hear, because we believe that it all goes in the right direction. I understand my time is up, so I'll come to an end swiftly. Reiterating that the dialogue is important. Dialogue is certainly much more costly than fight, but the dialogue is much more important for our future. So we should invest more and keep the dialogue open. Thank you.